hindi masyado. Okay, so actually nagpapadaldal lang sa akin ay kayo. Yeah. Okay, so let's now have, I hope that you did your assignment last time. So I hope na ginawa niyo yung mga assignment niyo kasi nung nakaraan ko pa po sinend sa inyo yung ano natin, no? Para I already sent you your PowerPoint presentation and we only have 100 left. So introduction to contemporary literature or stories. Now, okay, for a while. Medyo mabagal na yung laptop ko, I'm sorry. Ganun. Ayaw niya mag-click. Okay. So, nowadays, how do you keep yourself busy or entertained? Honestly, for me, I of course watch TikTok videos. I love memes, you know that. You know that very well. I love Facebook, Instagram, Netflix, Disney, and of course, oh my, I keep myself entertained. Siyempre, hindi lang kayo ang binubuli ko. Just, I'm not a bully. Hindi lang kayo binubuisit ko, but I do have my dogs with me. So, yan. This is what I love about online classes because I get to see my dogs. Lagi silang nandito. So, now, how about you? How do you keep yourself busy or entertained? Let's stop and think. So I won't be asking you to put this on the comment section, but I will. Joke lang. So of course, I want you to put later on. Maybe we'll be discussing this in front of the class. But I'm very concerned. I'm not concerned, but I'm very interested on how you keep yourself busy. Not all of us loves books, anyways. But I prefer that you read at least. But let's go back in time. Centuries ago, how do you think people keep themselves busy or entertained? Of course, paano nga ba? Paano? What do they do? Aside from, pag walang war, what do they usually do? So the answer, of course, is sharing stories. And literature helps and keeps them alive. Because a literature is a body of written works, the name has traditionally been applied to those imaginative works of poetry and prose distinguished by the intentions of their authors and their perceived aesthetic excellence in their execution. Literature may be classified according to a variety of systems, including language, national origin, historical period, genre, and subject matter. Okay? So we have a lot of literature talaga. Since sometimes it was said that anything that could be read are part of literature. So we have a lot of descriptions. That's why we always put um who said that? Who said that? Okay. So in literature, we do have a list of imaginative poetry because during that time, most of the time, poetry talaga siya. Madaming poetry. But it's not just poetry. We have a lot of literatures right now. Literature also is a definition, it's a collection of personal accounts, formal documents, history letters, and even poems. Printed plays and novel only came after Samuel Johnson's dictionary. So look, I have another dog with me. Don't worry, I won't show you all 7 dogs. Okay, so imagine collection of personal accounts, formal documents, history letters, and even poems, printed plays, and novels. That's the reason why we put it in a museum as well. Diba? Nasa part siya ng literature natin. And even some letters are published in, we usually know kasi poems but some letters, autobiography also are published as well. So part siya ng literature. And if you are someone who's very great and for maybe you have contributed a lot in the society, your life story, your biography would also be part of literature. Someone will do it to you, for you rather, no? Or maybe you could do it to yourself because sometimes we are very fascinated with how do we have this kind, how did we manage to have this kind of person? For example, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Button, Benjamin Franklin. He's so great. He did a lot of things, and he also has his own autobiography. So in the canon, the Greek classics, the works of Shakespeare and other pieces of literature that are well known and taught for hundreds of years across the world are considered part of literary canon. If we define canon, it is a collection of key works of literature. The word comes from a Greek canon, meaning reed, measuring rod, and eventually pertained to standards that were put together by scholars or experts in a specific field assert which works and concepts are considered as essential. So if you are reading as well, if you are reviewing for your late licensure examination, part siya ng essentialist, di ba? Yung mga literary canon, the classics. So of course, we have Sophocles for Greek, we have all of the known poets during that time, known thinkers of that time, Aristotle also part of it, Plato, ayan, hindi mo na kailangan ng ano, para siyang si Glock 9, hindi na, wala siyang apelido. Usually, yung mga tao na walang apelido, they're very good. So, what is contemporary literature? It's written works produced from the mid-20th century until present. And it began in 1940s, particularly following World War II. So imagine during that time, many people are very sad because of the loss of their family members and so on and so on and so on and so forth. Yeah, part siya. And there are different forms of contemporary literature. We have the novels, short stories, poetry, plays, memoir, and autobiographies, flash fiction, and creative nonfiction. So those are the different forms of contemporary literature. Actually, not just in contemporary, but forms of literature as well. So the different themes that is particular in the contemporary literature are the following. And mga if sometimes you will be asked, bakit ganun pa? How can I identify these things from these things and these things? It's so hard. So usually there's a set theme. For example, for contemporary literature, it's more on realistic, well-developed characters. Also, if the story is, of course, after the World War II. So it is character-driven. Stories have plot heavy ones, modern or recent settings, exploration of social issues, identity, and personal struggles. It has a sense of emotional complexity, especially rooted in post-war reality. So usually ano na yan, yung mga after war na siguro may mga instances that the war was mentioned or after pagbabago ng buhay natin because of war, after what happened to war, lahat yun ay under ng contemporary literature. But the question is, what is not contemporary literature, so that it won't be easy, it would be easy for you. Written works produced from the mid-20th century to the present. So lahat ng ginawa ngayon ng mga authors now is not, it's not contemporary. Maybe it's popular or emergent literature. Genre fiction like sci-fi or maybe fantasy novels may be modern, but they're often categorized separately. It's not part of contemporary. Academic writing and journalism usually isn't considered literature unless it uses creative or narrative techniques. So it's also not part of contemporary literature. So yung mga research na yan. Social media posts, blogs, or commercial content, even if it's written recently, sorry, it's not considered literature in this context. Works written before the mid-20th century may still be read today but are considered modernist or part of earlier literary periods. So, and, of course, popular. I wanna be popular. Popular literature tayo ngayon. So when we say popular literature, according Cunningham 2024, it is defined as any written work that is read or is intended to be read by a mass audience. So it is we usually have popular literature, it was made to be popular. Ang gulo, no? But actually, it's not. As long as you see that the it the works is usually mass produced. It's the plot is usually para siya sa kikiligin ng tao. Typically, lahat ng mga rom-com movies, ayan. So, non-fiction books nowadays, circulated periodicals, certain kinds of digital texts tend toward escapism. So, we escape from reality. Anyway, that's the reason why we love literature, isn't it? So, the new popular literature. So, escapism, the common genres are romance, mystery, thriller, science fiction, and of course, horror. Kaya lang ang lungkot, no? Because some horror movies are not horror na. Parang, even the Thais, I do love their horror, pero medyo, siguro pag madami ka lang napapanood, it's not, it seems that those are like the project of students as well, no? Hindi na siya kagaya dati. So, group activity. Now that you're aware of the difference between popular and contemporary literature, let's answer the following questions. Since you're not grouped, and since you're doing this on your own, so on this page 40 activity, don't worry, this is by friends. Okay? So, you could do this by friends. So, answer this question. Walang minimum and maximum number. Or kung solo ka, walang problema. Okay? Wala nang magkakainggitan na, ma'am, sila po, 10 silang gumawa, ako mag-isa lang. Choice mo yun. Or hindi ka nila choice. Which is okay lang. Okay lang kung hindi ka choice ng iyong friend. What were your initial perceptions of literature? How different is contemporary from modern? And how can you describe literature at present based on the literary works you read or you see in bookstores? What do you think makes a literary work popular? Well, those things. Also, since this is a group work supposedly, of course, I cannot give you 10 minutes, but make sure that your answers are recorded on in your notebook. Okay? And of course, your assignment, you could do this also by group as well. So, ito na din, by friends na din kayo. Okay? So, yung assignment ninyo na page 42 ng inyong slides, you'll be divided into 5 groups. Wala na yan. But, you are tasked to read or listen to an audiobook by Kazuo Ishiguro's Never Let Me Go. I have that on YouTube. Give at least 5 quotes you have enjoyed in the audiobook or book. Complete the elements of a short story from the text you have recently read. Create a network diagram that explains the relationship the characters have with each other. And number 5, you will present this in front of the class. So you will be presenting this next meeting. Okay, once we see each other, you will do that. Okay, so that's all. Okay. Yes, so we'll have introduction to contemporary literature, poems, next meeting. So that will be face-to-face after your presentation. So I'll be stopping this one. Good luck and have a great day. Bye-bye! Stop na natin siya. I wanna be popular. Bye-bye!